All right, and we're back, everybody.
All right, welcome everyone.
Hello, we got a special guest today.
Yep, first guest, special guest.
Oh yeah, Adam Stewart in the house.
Thanks for having me, boys. It's an honor.
Honor to have you here, man.
Yeah, great guy,
So,
great human.
Incredible human.
Yeah,
Just got out of the cold plunge.
yeah.
We're all feeling chilled out.
Like a champ. Everyone did 3 minutes. We're dialed.
Easy.
We're ready to go.
All right, brother.
Man,
So,
pleasure, dude. Pleasure to have you here.
Yeah.
You know, we've been doing a lot of stuff lately, getting closer, becoming better friends, but don't really know the exact story behind your origin, man.
Yeah.
I'm real curious. You're an Arizona guy, though, right?
Yeah, born and raised here. Arizona. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What part?
I jumped around. Childhood, I was in this little area called the Square off like 32nd Street in Greenway.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That was a rough one.
Oh, yeah, very familiar.
And then once my parents separated, my mom got remarried and we moved to a little better area, actually right up the street from where we're at right now, 51st Street in Cactus. So I did like 2nd grade to 6th grade there. And then we moved again to the North Phoenix side, 7th grade and on. So that's where I've been.
Yeah, what location? North Phoenix?
19th Avenue, Union Hills.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what high school did you go
Barry
to?
Goldwater.
Goldwater, yeah, that's right.
Yes,
that's
sir.
right. It's right down the street from you, North Canyon.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I had some cousins that went there.
Yeah, good friends with them. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool how we got a little connection going there.
Yeah, no
between
doubt.
that.
that's wild, yeah. The first time you guys met, we're like, do you know this guy? And this guy?
Yeah,
And
we
I was
were
like,
just out
what?
hiking, and all of a sudden we're like, man, I grew up with his cousins. I grew up right next door to him.
Yeah, riding skateboards and street bikes and
Yep. Doing the bicycle thing. They were all big into bikes. We were into skateboarding, and
Wow.
man, it's just
Small world.
It's funny how that stuff works out, man.
Yeah. All right, Adam. So I wanted to know, dude, origin story. Yeah. Let's get into it, man. Parents.
all right, so parents. My mom is this incredible woman. She was born in Chicago. Great, comes from a big family. Super rock solid. My mom's a saint. She married my dad. My dad actually died 2 weeks ago.
Oh, sorry to hear.
He wasn't a big part of my life, but it still was. He's still my dad.
Of
He's
course.
still a part of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were married and had me, or my brother first, me a year later, and then my little sister a year and a half later. So 3 healthy kids. And my dad, he just had a real rough upbringing, and he just couldn't do it. So he would leave my mom and go do the drugs and be real violent and do all those kind of things. And my mom finally had enough, and I don't know, I was probably 5 years old, and they split up.
Wow.
That's when I was living over there in the Square.
Okay.
I started getting a lot of trouble, hanging around, a bunch of gangbangers and, stealing, doing things at a young age, looking back at it, doing things at a young age that was like, man, that's not right. But my mom met my stepdad, and they ended up getting married. He worked at a car dealership, and he was gone, 12, 15 hours a day. So it was pretty much just my mom with us, 3 kids, and then my stepdad had 2 of his, so there's 5 of us.
Oh.
4 boys and 1 girl.
Full house.
Wow.
So it was a full house there. And,
Wow.
How crazy was it getting into childhood? What was happening?
Oh man. just trouble, man. I just started at a young age. I would bring like airsoft guns to school and stuff, like pointed at the bus driver, and get kicked off the bus. Started sniffing,
slashing out,
sniffing white out and stuff like that. Just doing all kinds of crazy, little bad things. And then as I got older, once I moved over to North Phoenix, I got in with I just had a bad attitude. I was real mad and angry at the world. My dad wasn't in a picture, and my stepdad was never around. My mom, she was just working and just trying to make ends meet to, feed 5 freaking monster kids.
That's tough for a young man to have no father figure, no one to look up to,
For
Who else are
sure.
you going to look up to? The friends and
The
people
streets,
around you.
the streets who you look up to. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I just started running the streets. We'd ride our bikes and skateboards, and we'd take the city bus, downtown Phoenix, and ride our bikes, and we started picking fights with people. And, at 14, 15, 16 years old, I was knocking out grown men for fun. That's what we did. We rode bikes and skateboards and knocked people out. We picked fights for no reason. And
Mike Tyson vibes.
We take turns knocking grown men out. And then one thing led to another. We just kept taking it to the next level, especially me. I just always would take things to the next level. My friends, you know, they watched me knock out someone. They're like, dang, that was crazy. And they thought it was cool. So I'm like, yeah, you know, kind of acceptance and
respect.
Yeah. And so I just kept taking it to the next level, and I'm taking their wallets and stealing people's wallets after I knock them out, and just kept going down that road. And next thing you know, my brother had a sword collection, and he had like a 3-foot sword, a 2-foot sword, and like a 1-foot dagger. And I took the biggest sword out with me over on the weekends, and we would drive around, you know, party, and we look for people that look like they might have a little bit of money. And we pull over, and I remember I had that sword, and I said, let's go get these guys. I'll handle it. Let me be the front runner. So we ran up on these guys, and I had the sword. You know, I was 16 years old, you know, 6'4", 250 pounds. And I had the sword in my hand, and I walked up to them, and they're driving RC cars like 2 a.m. in a parking lot. And I walked up and I said, hey, motherfuckers, give me your wallet or I'll chop your fucking heads off. And they looked at me, and their eyes got all big because I was like a young kid, and they could tell. And they didn't do anything. So I kicked the one guy in his chest, and he flew backwards. And then they were like, oh shit, this guy's serious. So they threw me their wallets, and we just grabbed him and took off running. So I started doing stuff like that. And then, you know, it just kept taking it to the next level. I was just hanging out with kids, you know, similar situations at me, you know, just broken homes and just violent and mad. And we went to a party, you know, in high school, and these kids, you know, that went to the rich kids' parties, and their parents were out of town, so they'd throw parties at the house. Like, all right, drink some beer and hang out and do the thing. Well, let's go check in the back room. You know, no one's paying attention to this, so we go in the back room, and we found a gun safe and found some, you know, shotguns and stuff. So, yeah, let's take those, and all right, let's take their keg too, and get the hell out of here. And we got out of there and went back to went back to just big bullies, man, just big overgrown, you know, violent kids, and no one would do anything to us. So we just kept getting away with it. We were going to keep taking more and more. We took them back to my garage and sawed them off and pistol gripped them, and then we started running around robbing people. So that's when I ended up going to jail. We robbed some guys over the weekend, me and a couple buddies from a rival high school, and they knew, you know, big ass redhead, you know, me and my brother, the Stewart brothers, that people knew, and they actually they arrested my brother first, and he was like, hey, you got the wrong guy, I didn't do nothing this weekend, type of thing. So like, hey, he does have another brother, Adam, you know. So they came and got me out of my second hour class Monday at school, and they took me down to the old jailhouse. So I ended up doing a year. I got a year.
How old were you at this point?
I had just turned 17.
Just turned 17. Yeah. So you're still a minor?
I was still a minor, but they charged me as an adult.
So
they took me to the Juvenile Durango, which is like Juvenile.
I've been
not
there,
charged as an adult. Yeah. And
another story.
So they took me there, and I spent the night there, and then they woke me up in the morning, and a cop came, and he put a belt around me and handcuffed me to the belt. And then he took me in his unmarked car, and we started getting on I-17 heading north. And I was like, hey, this guy's taking me back home. You know, we robbed some people, but we didn't hurt anyone. It wasn't a big deal. And I thought, well, he's taking me back home. And then we turn off Jefferson Street, and he takes me to 4th Avenue jail. And I was like, oh, crap, he's not taking me home. He's like, nope, you're with the big boys now. You're tried as an adult.
Whoa.
I was like, oh, crap. So I went through that whole horseshoe process, and it was weird. They put me in the cell. You know, I go through the check-in or whatever of the 4th Avenue jail, and I see all these people packed in the cell, like 100 people just packed shoulder to shoulder in the cells, and then they put me in a big old cell by myself, and I'm like, what the heck is this? Well, it's because I was a juvenile, and they couldn't put me with the adults. But that was a rough process. My dad was always in and out of prison my whole life, so he would always try to call us collect, and my mom, she blocked that from happening. She said no collect.
Damn.
So I was in the cell for 30 hours by myself, you know, just turned 17 years old, scared as hell, even though I'm like this tough guy. But I was like, well, this is the real deal. I'm scared. And they're telling me 7 to 21 years, and I have $100,000+ bond. And I'm like, I didn't hurt anyone. It wasn't a big deal, you know. Right. To me, it wasn't a big deal. I was just
wow.
So they ended up, you know, put me through that process, and then it took me over to Lower Buckeye Jail, and I ended up getting bailed out.
No shit,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. We didn't have $108,000. That was my $108,000 with my bail. I went to court. I don't know. It took a couple of weeks, and it dropped down to $65,000. Then my mom and whatever, she did something, and they're like, "Will you drop it on even more? We don't have that much money." And we got it dropped down to $16,000, and then my parents bailed me out after 42 days in.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm out on bail. It was my junior year of high school. No, it was summertime. So right before my senior year was getting ready to start. And I got a job at Taco Bell, needed to stay busy and just try to do something right. And what was it, August 20 something, I had my sentencing date, and I had my mom, she worked her magic, she got she reached out to everyone in the school and the detective and the principals and my football coaches and whatnot, and was like, "Will you guys please come to Adam's sentencing date and speak on his behalf?" And
incredible.
And so my sentencing date, I wrote my own letter and apologized, to everyone that was hurt and the families and the victims. And then a lot of the detective, the principal, the coaches, a lot of people wrote like, "Hey, this guy, he has a lot of potential. He's a good kid. He's from, his mom's an incredible person. If you guys will just, try to cut him a break, and I think, he'll really learn from this." And man, I got so lucky for getting a year, because it went from 7 to 21 years, and then they're telling me 3 to 5. Like, there's no way you're not getting less than 3 years. And this judge looked at me, and after I did my speech and everyone else spoke on my behalf, and he saw my mom and everything, and he's like, "I'm going to give you the absolute minimum. I'm giving you 1 year flat and 5 years of probation. And if I ever see you in this courtroom again, I'm going to slam your ass with the hardest. I don't ever want to see you back." So I said, I was still like, "Holy crap, a freaking year, my whole senior year of high school, I'm incarcerated." It was still scary, like a big thing. But I was like, all right, I got to do what I got to do. So, yeah.
How was that year in prison?
It was wild. It was wild. And the adults, so we're on the 3rd floor, Lower Buckeye jail, and we have the stripes on, but we have yellow sleeves, and they call us the bumblebees. Everyone else, the adults, all have stripes on, so we're intermixed, but we're in different pods. So we would see the adults and stuff, but we're in different pods that they'd never get to us. But when I went in there, I was 275 pounds at that time.
Big boy.
Yeah, 6'5", 275 pounds, and they're like, "Whoa, what? There's no way." They took me, I got sentenced, and they took me in there. They're like, "There's no way this kid." And they're like, "Oh, dang, he's just barely 17 years old." And so they would bring sergeants up from the first level, and they'd let me serve chow. And I put on a show, man. I was a fool. I ripped my shirt off, and I'd flex. I had these big old traps, and I'd flex and scream, "Ah!" And the sergeants were like, "Oh my goodness, let this guy serve chow, and let's show him off to the rest of the people in the jail." And things like that would happen. But then, my first 2 weeks, I was scared, and I was nervous, and I was kind of like, but then once I realized how big I was, and people respected, and they kind of were scared, I was like, all right, cool, let's start having some fun. So,
oh man,
that's when I was like, man, I got that, that violent side still mad, and they're still kind of, thuggish or whatever. Yeah, I'd knock people out, and they would start, race wars and riots and all kinds of stuff,
And you were loving it, huh?
I was loving it. So I had some anger management classes I went to, beat up a couple roommates. I got my GED, ended up getting my GED in there after, I think it took 7 months, because I was gone my whole senior year. So I was like, I have to get my GED. So I got my GED after 7 months of being in there. I got to see my mom for the first time in person. Everything was video screens, they're in another building when they'd visit. I lost 40 pounds right away, because they feed you once at 6 in the
prison
morning.
Food, man.
Oh man, we call it, because we see the birds flying around, and they get inside the pod, and the birds are flying around, and the next morning you wake up, and you don't see them anymore. You say, "Hey, that's what's for chow," They feed us pigeon, the green bologna. But that Sheriff Joe, he did a good job, making you not want to come back, because that was rough. One meal at 6 in the morning, one meal at 6 at night, minimum, 2,500 calories, and
wow, man,
barely getting by.
Yeah, barely getting by. So I got my GED in there. I got to see my mom for the first time. They had a Mexican food cater, and so I had to eat real food. That was awesome. Saw my mom. I met Sheriff Joe. That was part of the deal of getting your graduation.
Really?
I met Sheriff Joe, shake his hand. I had to do a speech on integrity. I was on the chain gang, the only juvenile chain gang in the United States.
Wow.
I was on that, and I ended up being like the leader of that. So 5 of us were chained together at our ankles, and Wednesday mornings they'd wake us up at 4. They'd say, get in the shower, and we go dress up. We put boots on. We'd have a canteen, a little hat, all chained together, and we'd march around and have little cadences, and they'd bring us on corners, of anywhere in Phoenix, and they'd have us clean up, and people, they get to see us and like tell their kids like, hey, if you guys do bad things, like that's going to be you guys.
Wow.
And the guards stand there with their shotguns, and we do that for a few hours every Wednesday morning. So I got to see sunlight there. Otherwise, you don't know sunlight touches you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 walls.
That's
it.
Walls. So I did that, and then I turned 18. The juveniles, getting back to that real quick, the juveniles was crazy. There was no structure at all. People are stabbing, they're stealing. There's no structure. They're just wild. Just fights will break out.
Just as crazy as the adults.
Way more crazy than
Way
the
more.
adults. Yeah,
because they're probably pent up.
Yeah, there's no structure. There's no one like, hey, man, you need to get a clearance, before you go beat that guy, or you can't just go steal from someone and get away with it, or, stuff over as young kids. We're not organized. There's no structure there.
Impulse.
Yeah. So that was crazy. And we were all mixed. There was a kid that stole an iPod, and then there was a kid that got caught walking on the train tracks. He saw the dude's head off, So there was a whole mix. There's 14-year-old kids with 2 counts of murder, me, armed robbery, and then we got this kid over here who stole some iPods at school. So it was a big, I saw there was some crazy, there was some crazy stuff. Those little guys, they make those little shanks out of them little toothbrushes and pencils, and they run up and start sicking you, or we get a bar of soap, and a bar of soap's pretty hard, and they put it in a long tube sock, and then they crack you in the head with a soap sock, and
man,
oh my God,
that kind of stuff. It was like you're always like watching your back in there, like holy smokes,
Any moment.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how motivated were you to get the GED? Was it a program you wanted to do? Is it something because it was your senior year and you're like, hey, I'm in here.
Yeah.
I should probably get this done while I'm in here.
Yeah, I was, man. I look forward to going to school. Not before I went to jail. No, I didn't like school. I just wanted to play football and run with my friends. But in there, I was like, yeah, let's learn. And the teachers were actually great. The teachers, actually, a girl I went to high school with, her mom was my teacher in there.
Interesting.
She was a jailhouse teacher.
Really?
And they really helped out, and they took their time, and they taught us etiquette and stuff like that. So I learned a lot. I actually did learn a lot in there. It was good. I was actually, I've never been asked that question. Yeah, I was excited and proud.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't
right.
think I would have. Yeah, if I would on the same path, I wouldn't have graduated high school on the path I was going.
Yeah.
So that was good that I got that for sure.
Yeah,
Did
that's
you
great.
I wanted to ask you too. So when you're in prison, obviously it's a year, man. You got a lot of time to think. When you're sitting there in solitary, just kind of by yourself, staring at the wall. Did you have like a mental kind of change to shit, man? This has to get better.
Towards the end, I did. At first, I was just running amok, just acting wild, just wilding out, just going to be the tough guy. But then I turned 18, and I still had 2.5 months left. So they took me over to Tent City. That was an experience. The 18th birthday, came over to Tent City, and I'm with the adults now. A lot more structure, a lot more calm. We had access to more things. So it was summertime, almost summertime. I did end up spending the whole summer there, 134 degrees in those tents.
Wow,
we're sleeping outside in tents with 48 people in a tent and just one big fan at the end of the tent. And you have a job in there. So my job was the tent framing crew. So I would build the tents. I didn't get to where I was welding the tents, but if I would have been in there longer, I would have got to learn that skill of welding. But I would, build tents and move steel around and throw the tarps and stuff over, and did that. So when I first got there, they saw me like, damn, it's a big ass, kid. I was like 230 pounds. I lost all that weight from initially being there. So all the heads or whatever, all the different races, blah, 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 they'd come up and say, all right, big old 18-year-old kid, like you want to be the Torpedo. And I was like, I knew what the Torpedo is. I'd do all the dirty work, I'd handle all the business because I'm a big, young, fearless kid. And I was like, no, I'm good. I was like, but I do want chew though. Like, how can I get some chew? And they're like, oh, you need blah, 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 blah. Like, you can be the Torpedo and we'll pay you in chew. And I was like, 'cause I like chewing tobacco. And I was like, all right, screw it, you know? So I was the Torpedo. So I would, anyone in my race, the white guys, anyone that messed up, I'd chin check them and I'd smash them. And so that's kind of what I did. Like, someone like there was eight toilets, right? Like stalls, not like the urinals, the stalls. And like the first 4 of them were for peeing and the second 4 of them were for pooping. And like if someone pees on the shitter, like you piss in the shitter and you get your piss droplets, like you get smashed for that. Like little things like, hey, this is where we live. We don't want to sit in your piss droplets type of thing. So like, all right, there's a messenger would go like see that guy or someone would tell on him and like, all right, come over here behind the tent and Big Dog's going to like chin check you. So a messenger would go get that guy. They know his bunk or whatever, follow him back to his bunk and say, hey, come over here. And I just punch him in the face and I get my chew. So I did a lot of things like that. It was pretty wild.
So then what was it like? All right, now you're getting out, you're at the end. What's next for you?
So I had like I think a month and a half left and I was like, man, I need to like prepare myself, you know, mentally to just be in the real world and leave all this crap behind me. My mom was talking to Glendale Community College. She's like, you know, he's a big kid. He plays football. He played 2 years in high school and he did good. She found this lady that helped out, you know, troubled teens that were incarcerated or just troubled teens and helped them out with like partial scholarship money. And I ended up getting, you know, help so I walked on. So I got out, I got released. My time was over with. And I was walking out and they said, hey, we'll see you soon. And I was like, no, not me, you know, not me. Because I really straightened out that last like month and a half and I kind of switched, you know, flipped the switch. And I was like, I need to do good. And I decided in there, I was like, I need to break the chain because my whole family's kind of, a lot of family members, like my dad, you know, my little sister, uncles, like they're all prison, you know, grandpa, you know, 19 years, dad, my whole life in and out, you know, drugs, violence, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I need to break the chain, man. I was like, something in me, like really my mom, you know, she's just so solid. I want to make her proud. And I was like, I gotta break the chain. I gotta be a good role model. Let me turn my life around and change it. And look at everything my mom's doing. You know, she's doing so much and she always works so hard for us kids. So, I got out, went to Glendale Community College, went and talked to the football team, the coaches. Go ahead, you know, come try out. And this lady, Shelly Davis, she was a huge help. She gave me that, you know, she bought me like new cleats and my books, paid for my books and gave me like partial scholarship. And walked on to Glendale Community College and started playing some football, going to school. And my first year I was all region, all conference. And then my second season there, I was all American. I was a 5-star recruit. You know, I had full rides offers from LSU, Boise State, Oregon State, Texas A&M, you know, all the big schools. But I still I wasn't like in the classroom. I wasn't like super hungry to do good. So my grades weren't right. And I failed a couple classes. So I didn't have enough credits to transfer to these big universities. So I don't know how it works, but my coach was like, yeah, you're not able to go to this D1 school, you know, LSU, but you can go D2. You can transfer over and you can do these summer classes to do that. So I ended up getting a few full ride, you know, offers too to D2. I went and visited, you know, Texas, Missouri, Kansas, and I really liked the school in Kansas. Pitt State Gorillas are a powerhouse of D2, you know, the guys going to the NFL and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And that was a big hassle. Like I was still on probation, like switching states and doing all that stuff. So I didn't get to visit everywhere I wanted to visit. But after my third visit to Pitt State, I decided I wanted to go there and we got it all figured out, squared away. And I took off to Kansas. I had a girlfriend, you know, that was, I was with all through high school, all through my junior college. She was a cheerleader. I was a football player. She had a real crazy, rough life. I seen a lot of crazy stuff. Her mom, you know, committed suicide and she ended up living with us and she was like my little high school sweetheart. And young little puppy love.
Right.
But I was like, I gotta go. And I listened to a few, adults that I respected, and they said, man, you gotta just go. You gotta get the hell out of here. Get away from these people, get away from these friends. You're still kind of a knucklehead. I was still fighting a little bit and partying in the junior college. So I was like, all right, I just gotta listen to these guys. They're older, they've been through it. I gotta go spread my wings. So I took off to Kansas. Full-ride scholarship, small town, town of 20,000 when school's in session, 10,000 when there's no school in session, small little hillbilly town, southeast Kansas. And
I'm like, needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, that's what I needed.
A little quieter.
Yeah, slow pace. And I get there, my first month, I absolutely hated it, I didn't like it at all. I was like, man, these guys are just way different. I'm like this West Coast kid with a bad attitude, and there's like this country, hey, just happy. But I stuck it out, and it was the best, just the growth, man, just to be around these positive minds. It's college, these bright minds, and these, just all different walks of life. I grew so much there, just spreading my wings and doing that, and just seeing all the different walks of life. I was like, holy crap,
whole new world out here.
A whole new world. In full ride, I was the highest paid, player on the team. And I was started doing it, but I also had that chip on my shoulder still.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm this badass from the West Coast, and I'm in this little country town with these little hillbillies, and I need to show them who I am. So I'd go to the football parties on the weekend, and we'd all drink, and I wasn't like, at this point, I wasn't like just beating up anyone. Like someone would pick on like someone smaller or someone maybe that had an issue, and I would just stand up. I'm like, I'm the guardian, what I mean? Like I'd just come clean people's clocks, and I started knocking people. Man, I beat up the whole baseball team. I beat up the whole basketball team of my college town, random kids at parties, and the word got around, man. The word got around.
This kid can fight.
Yeah, this guy could fly. I knocked this guy out. His ankle broke because he hit the ground so hard, and his foot went between the bar stool. Like I just did crazy things.
Wow.
I broke a branch off a tree and was like telling people all freaking crack their heads. I was just mad, in this small town, trying to like be somebody, show you who I am, how tough I am. It's stupid, looking back at it now, but that's what I was doing. That's what I did.
Yeah, you don't know when you're young. It's insecurity.
18, 19 years old. Yeah, insecure for sure.
You're just putting the shield up.
Yeah, for sure.
So how did the whole boxing thing, like, how does that fall into place? You're already fighting everywhere,
I'm about there now. So I do that my first year, my junior year of college, and I'm like, the end of the season happens, and I cause all this trouble. The first 3 months I was in this town, kind of like let everyone know who I am. Well, the word gets around in a small town. The coaches catch wind of it. Basketball players are coming to practice with black guys, and all beat up. And the coaches pull me in at the end of my junior year, right before the senior year is about to start, and they're like, they either renew your scholarship, give you more money, give you less money, depending on how you played. They told me, like, you're a menace to society. We need to get you out of this small town.
Shit.
Like, we're not renewing your scholarship. You're done here. And I was just like, I said some things I probably shouldn't have to the head coach of this football team, well-respected, man, and kicked his door open, left, and I just dropped out. I dropped out of college because I was like, I'm only here to play football anyways. Why finish? I had 2 weeks left of my finals, and I just said, screw it.
Yeah,
this is it. Started working at Pizza Hut. Wasn't getting enough hours there, so I got a job at this dog food warehouse, working 12-hour nights for $7.25 an hour, and I was just living. At that time, I was with Catherine, my wife now. She was my girlfriend in college. I met her in psychology class. I was with her. It's like trying to figure it out, 20 years old, trying to figure it out. And my dad, the old criminal dad, calls me. He's like, I just won at the casino $500,000. Life is changing. Like everything's good. And I was like, heck yeah, awesome. He's like, what do you need, Adam? I was like, well, I need a vehicle. I'm just riding my bike, to and from work. I need a vehicle. So he wired me. He had my sister wire me $6,000. Come to find out, my dad had robbed someone for $500,000.
Fuck.
And he told us
I was about to ask. Wow. That's,
yeah. He said he wanted a casino, but really he broke into a guy's house and stole. He had $500,000 worth of gold, so he stole the guy's gold.
Wow.
And sent me money. Bought some things for my brother. Bought some things for himself. He had limos and big choppers, and my brother had a Mustang with 800 horsepower. And they were living this life out here. And I was just in college, like, just send me some money. And I bought a little Chevy pickup truck with that $6,000. And I was walking the DMV, to get registration and stuff for this new truck I just bought. And it was a DMV / courthouse, small town, right? And I get the registration and I'm walking out, and there's a guy just staring at me. He's like a big burly guy just staring at me. And I had this bad attitude, 20-year-old kid. And I was like, fuck you looking at? And he smiled. He said, do you fight? And I said, yeah, on the streets. And he said, I look for you redheads because you're the toughest son of bitches out there. He's like, my son's a redhead, and he's tough, man. He's like, I got an MMA gym up the street. You know, we do 10 planet jiu-jitsu. I was a tough man, heavyweight boxer. I got my black belt, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, hell yeah. He's like, come check it out if you want. And he was waiting for court, and he ripped a piece of his court paper, and he said, Bob Spraggs, and he wrote his number down, and he gave it to me. He's like, if you want to come check it out here. And so I went home and I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, hell yeah. I'd never been to a fighting gym before. I like to fight, so let's go check it out. So I called him the next day, and he had a heavyweight, Big Rich was getting ready to fight. He was a wrestling background, and I went in there the next day, and he's like, all right, let's see what you got. And he had me wrestle with Rich. And so when we were wrestling, you know, I'm mad as hell. I'm just just trying to be a tough guy.
Of course.
He's like, all right, cool, good. And he's like, come back tomorrow. So we did our training. I came back the next day, and he's like, all right, spar Rich. He has a fight coming up. Help him out. And I spar Rich, and I do good, you know. And he's like, fuck yeah. I see something in this kid. Big Red. I was right about Big Red. And so I trained for him for like 2 weeks, and I was working that night shift. He ended up giving me a key to the gym. He's like, I know you work at 6 at night till 6 in the morning. If you want to go straight from work to the gym, here's a key. You can just come in and train, do whatever you want. And I would train with him, and I'd train sometimes early in the mornings. For 2 weeks I was doing this, and this guy, he was like that father figure, that person like I respected, like a big burly guy that I like looked up to, and he had the stories and he had the experience, and he would spar me. I remember I was sparring with him. Boom, boom, boom. And I hit him with a left hook, and he dropped. And then he jumped up, and he was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He's like, I fought these tough man competitions. I fought huge guys from Inglewood, California, and this and that. He's like, that was one of the hardest left hooks I ever felt. He's like, that's what I'm talking about. And he was excited about it. And I was just like, hell yeah. And he'd always text me. He's like, man, you got something special. Man, you're great. You're one of the hardest punchers, and you're just a natural, like, what your skills are just going to get better and better. And I was just like eating it up, and I was just like, yeah, like the custom model Mike Tyson. Of
course, yeah. And you finally got someone that knows what they're talking about. You respect them, and they're telling you these things.
So that was, man, I
empowering.
Was just like, yeah, it's like a father figure, you know? And so 2 weeks go by of training and that stuff happening. Rich's fight is coming up. So I get a call. I worked a 12-hour night. I got off. I get a call like 9 o'clock in the morning. Hey, Big Rich gets to fight for a belt, like a fight opportunity opened up. So he gets to fight for the belt. Do you want to fight the guy that Rich was going to fight? And I was like, I was training here 2 weeks, and I was like, hell yeah. And he's like, you're a big nasty motherfucker, just go street fight this guy. And I was like, hell yeah, man, this is the shit I love to do. So it was December 2010, right before Christmas, and it was called Seasons Beatings in Joplin, Missouri. Man, I slept, just a couple hours, woke up, ate some pizza, went down there, weighed in, and I fought a guy that had like 2 years of jiu-jitsu under his belt, an older guy, he was like in his 30s, and I was, a 20-year-old kid, and I went in there, and he's like, just street fight this motherfucker, Big Stu, that's what he called me, and I was like, wow, I just thought of everything angry in my life, and it was different because street fight, you just boom, boom, just overwhelm someone. It's like spur of the moment. This is like there's a wait and a whole lead up, and I was like nervous, but I was just mad, man. I was just thinking about everything in life, and I was just mad as hell, and they're like, holy shit, they kind of like back off, like, what the hell, your eyes are turning gray, dude, like you're pissed off, like just let this guy be, let him just transform into this killer that he's doing. And man, I went in there and knocked out in 41 seconds. Oof. Yeah. Oh wow, man, I came out and I push kicked him in his chest, and I threw like a Superman punch, and I just threw a head kick, and it grazed off the top of his head, and then I ended up catching him with a left uppercut and just knocked his head off.
Was this an MMA fight?
Yeah, it was an MMA fight.
Wow, so your first real fight was an MMA fight.
MMA, 2010 Seasons Beatings.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah. So
41 seconds.
41 seconds. Yeah. So bam, that happened. Got right back to training, working a dog food warehouse. I get a call from my junior college football coach. He's like, hey, these guys came in here and they're looking for heavyweights, 6'3" and taller, 220 pounds and heavier, for an Olympic heavyweight boxing program for the 2012 Olympics. And I was like, oh crap, 2011 had just started, it was like January. I was like, well, hell yeah. And he's like, he said, they asked me if I knew any guys that would be interested, like ex-football players or any big guys that are tough guys or think they're tough guys. And Coach Jewell said, I know this big dummy likes getting punched in his face. He said his name's Adam Stewart. And he said, and this guy, he's helped me so much in my life, getting me off to college. He kind of took me under his wing, and he knew how to deal with me in junior college because I was a troubled teen. He was actually a prison guard, and then he switched over to being a coach. He's a great guy. He was another father figure and a mentor in my life. He said, take this seriously. I gave him the information. There should be an email. And I said, okay. So I got this email, and they said, send me a picture of you with your shirt off, tell me your size, blah, blah, blah. I did it all, and they said, all right, we're going to fly you out to Los Angeles, you and 19 other guys, so 20 of you, and we're going to pick the best 5, so be ready to perform. And I was like,
Shit.
Okay, cool. So boom, I get out to Los Angeles, and they're doing assessment tests. They're checking our strength. They're checking all of our joints, just seeing if we're good. Explosion test. They're showing us how to throw 1, a 2, a 3. And I had I knew a little bit from street fighting and then training with Bob for, a month by then. And so they do this, all these assessment tests and making sure our joints and bones aren't broken and stuff. And then the next day they had 3 judges sitting there, and they said, okay, now shadow box and move around and do everything we showed you. So, okay, boom, I'm moving around, shadow boxing, trying to be loose and trying to throw punches. It probably looked crap, you know what I mean? But there's 20 other guys from the NFL, from basketball, from off the streets. Just a bunch of big guys. And they, all right, they sent us home. And I was like, all right. They said, we'll let you know in a couple of weeks. And a couple of weeks go by, I don't hear nothing. I'm like, crap. A month goes by. I was like, I don't hear nothing. So I called them. I was like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, it's just taking a little bit longer. Just give us some time. Like 5-6 weeks go by, and they call me back, and they said, we want you. You're one of the 5. So they did this like every 3-6 months. They get 20 guys and pick the best 5, 20 guys. And they've been doing it for years. So I came in there 2011, summer of 2011, and for the 2012 Olympics. And I get in there, and man, we have fully furnished apartment, a maid that cleans it once a week. We have rides to and from the gym. We train 8 hours a day. We had professional chefs that cooked all of our meals, a film crew. Every time we stepped in the ring, hit the mitt, work, did anything, they hand us a CD at the end of the day and say, here, watch and learn from it. And it was just like this state-of-the-art gym in Los Angeles, and with just like the most elite men. And there was a guy, Michael King, he's in the TV production, does Oprah and Little Rascals and Jerry Springer. He put in $60 million and said, we want to bring back heavyweight boxing. And so he just recruited guys from all over, and Evander Holyfield, Sugar Ray Leonard, Henry Tillman, John Bray, like all these guys coached us.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's where I got my foundation.
Wow.
That's where I got my foundation.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Like only 1 month into training, and you were kind of doing MMA training even at that.
So I was coming out there at Superman punch, and I was doing spinning backhands like when we first got there, when I started training, and they're like these like strictly boxing professional coaches, and they're like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, you do that stupid shit, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be spinning around and leaving the ground and stuff. And I'm like, it's working, man. What are you talking about? So they transformed me into just strictly boxing and taught me the sweet science and just the basics. And it was incredible, man.
I was gonna say, it sounds like some good leadership, though.
It was.
Under Holyfield, a couple of those guys.
Yeah,
wow,
it was top notch. So I got there late, I got there late 2011. That was for the 2012 Olympics. Word spread about the All-American heavyweights, and people didn't want to fight us, so they started having us fight each other. So how'd it go? Now you have full support. Everything is like the stars are aligning. Yeah. And how's it going from this point now? I'm still with my girlfriend, my wife now, Catherine. She was finishing up school. She got her bachelor's degree. Now she's working on her master's. I'm over here being like this all-star boxer, in Los Angeles. She's a small town girl, and we're working it out. They pay me, and so twice a month, I fly her out, come stay with me at my thing. Baller. Yeah, I was like, yeah, man, I'll be able to do this stuff now. And we're getting towards the end. The Olympics is coming up, the trials, and they're weeding guys out, and they're starting to make us fight each other. And Dominic Brazil, he was in the program, I think 3.5 years, and he ended up going to the Olympics. He lost in the trials, and they ended the program. They
What?
ended the program because he lost. Like, we wanted a U.S. Olympian in 2012. We didn't get it. Well, that's all right. This guy's a billionaire. He has the money. And he's just like, let's turn these guys pro. And I only had 3 amateur fights at the time, and I was like, I'm not ready. So girlfriend, she finished half of her master's, and then she was like applying for jobs. She got a management position with Toyota headquarters in Los Angeles. So it all just worked out. Right as she got her job and accepted, she's coming to LA, and I get cut from the program. I was like, crap. So she carried me on her back for months and months. I have 2 felonies on my record. I'm not boxing anymore. The program's over with. I have 3 amateur fights. I'm not ready to turn pro. I didn't feel ready. Well, that's not enough time, boxing for a year. And she's carrying me on her back. We're living right there, Redondo Beach area.
Beautiful.
Torrance. Yeah. And she's carrying me on her back. She's never left. She'd never dreamed of leaving her family and leaving, Kansas, where she's from.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, but she did it, and man, she carried all the weight. And I was searching for jobs, looking. I couldn't find nothing with my felonies. I didn't have, experience except for a Pizza Hut, for a couple months in a dog food warehouse.
Right.
So I ended up finding a lady that she passed out flyers. They had a window washing business on all the beach houses. Like, come clean your windows and blah, blah, blah. You pass out flyers. I'll give you $300 a day, only 3 days a week. So $30, 10 cents a flyer. So she'd only give me $90 of work a week. So that's all the money I was making for months. But I was like, this is my cardio. I'm running up and down these beach, it's straight up and down, beach houses, up to these big houses, putting flyers. So I do that, 3 days a week. And I was like, that's my cardio.
Beautiful mentality.
Yeah. And then, and me and my lady, like, it was tough, man, because we're used to being apart, and now we're together. We ended up getting like a big fight, and I was like, something's got to change. So I reached out to my uncle, and I was like, hey, can you get me, don't they have a Climate Tech? It's a AC business. He worked for them in California, and he said, yeah, they do. Let me make some calls. And he ended up getting me a job, man. I started like $18 an hour, a company truck, a fuel card,
completely different life.
And I was just like, oh my goodness. And I was like, holy crap. And they're like, my uncle called him, and he's well respected and well known. And he's like, hey, just give him the job, have him go through the process, and like have him go through the whole process and stuff, but give him the job, and he'll be a hard worker. And so I did that, and then they told me $18 an hour, and I was like, oh my gosh, man, I'm freaking, and a company truck and a cell phone and a gas card. And I was like, I was like, go from $90 a week to this. And I was like, holy crap. So then I started working. I moved out for a little bit because things weren't going good with the girlfriend. And then we ended up figuring it out and got back together and started making money, working, staying amateur, started winning all the local tournaments. I became upset, like I became addicted, like saving money, because I'm so used to being $90 a week to now I have like a lot more money. So like just saved money like crazy. I ended up
that was the mind state right there.
I was like, I was surviving on $90 a week. Even though she was carrying me, I was like, let's act like I'm still making that, but also help out with some bills.
It's a great way.
And I'm like $1,000, and then $2,000, and $5,000, and $10,000, $20,000. I was like, holy crap! I became addicted, like saving money. I was like, this is freaking incredible. And I ended up buying my first truck, that Toyota Tundra that I drive. And that was like the proudest thing I've ever done in my life.
Hell
to be able to buy my own truck, a nice, reliable vehicle. Like I had $800 Pontiac, 89 Pontiac Bonneville, like handed down to me, like when I first got out of jail to drive to and from, college, junior college.
Damn.
And then I stolen, robbed $6,000 that I bought my little Chevy truck in college, but I got to buy this like nice, new,
with your own hard-earned money.
Own hard-earned money. And then I kept that mindset, and I was like, just keep saving and saving and saving. Me and Catherine were doing great. We moved to like over to Orange County, Huntington Beach. Like we're kind of bouncing around, and she kept moving up, climbing up with the Toyota company, being a district manager. She managed all of San Diego and Orange County Toyota dealerships. And I'm like, keep moving up and getting raises in my job.
Boss.
Yeah, just bossing. Just life changing.
Yeah.
And moved over to Huntington Beach, stayed amateur, won, all the tournaments at the casinos, just kept ranked number 1 in California, 6th in the nation. I was like, all right, 2016 came around, I was like, I'm ready to turn pro. 2016.
So you were fighting this whole time on the side while
I was
working?
fighting still. I would train, and then my company, before I had bought my truck, they would let me, they're like, yeah, man, I knew like the owners of the company. My uncle's best friends with them. He's like, go ahead and drive your truck to the gym every single day. Like,
Hell
get
yeah.
after it. I was like, hell yeah. Using that gas card.
Oh, cool,
Yeah,
man.
they're like,
what
drive
a
your company
feeling.
truck. Go ahead. If you're exercising, that's good, man. Just keep chasing
Yeah.
your dream. I was
That's
like, I want to be a
amazing.
boxer. So I would drive, 12 miles every single day to and from the gym.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
What gyms were you at? Was there any of them in particular like stick with you, or was it just like you were just looking for?
Yeah, I
whatever?
was at grandpa's boxing gym in Westminster. That was good. And I was in Long Beach for a while at a few different Jackrabbit, Signal Hill boxing gym. Yeah, there's a few. There's real good gyms. Jerry Marino was my coach there. He was with me all through my amateurs and my
I was
first.
gonna
few
say,
pro
do you feel
fights.
like any of those coaches really took you
Oh,
to another level?
Man, Jerry, he was so great, man. He had a real rough background, gang banging, street thugging, and then he had a crazy thing happen to his son, and he just like changed his life around, got the tattoos removed, just wants to give back, real successful. Like he has construction companies and stuff, like real successful guy that just turned his life around. And he really connected with me, and he said the same, like he would fill my head with the same stuff, like you hit so fucking hard. He's like, you have something, special. And he'd really teach me the sweet science and just all the torque and the angles and stuff. And I just started knocking people out in the amateurs. And I was like, and he would spend so much time. Like he would just be with me, like, all right, anytime, just call me. And okay, I'll leave work. And he'd meet me at the gym.
Wow.
And he'd just sit by my side and
Just really believed in you.
just believed in me. Like I talk to him all the time still. I go to California and see him. Just a great man. Seriously, I've had, there's a handful of these guys that I'm just like, man, I'm so thankful. Like, that they just
Stepped in
gave
and
me-
changed your life. Yeah.
Man, the things that they taught me and just all these little lessons I learned along the way in these guys, it's the most incredible thing in the world.
That mentorship, man. A lot of young men
That's
miss
cool.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they see a little bit of themselves in you. You know,
Yeah.
try to take you under their wing a little bit.
Yeah, I was always searching, man. Always searching, like just any respectable man that good family man or strong or just a respectable person. I would always just like cling to him, like, come on, like just teach me
It's
what
what
you
I
know.
want,
This is
you
what
know?
I need. This is what I wanted as a
Right.
dad. I always missed that, I always missed that. So I was I would just be a sponge and just
That's
soak
great,
it up,
man.
just learn everything
That's
I
so
can
cool.
from everyone.
But now you're feeling confident. Now you got the skills. You're ready to go pro.
I'm ready to turn pro. 2016 April. Had my pro debut at the Orange County Fairgrounds. Fight Club OC is called. I fought a guy with 3 pro fights. I beat him. Another big guy, same size as me. I beat him. And a month and 2 months later, I beat another guy even bigger than me. I smoked him.
How'd it feel getting your first pro win? Was that like when you really knew you were
Yeah.
established?
Yeah.
Or did you feel confident going
felt
into your
real
first
confident.
pro fight?
Yeah, with Jerry and winning all these tournaments and him just like going down to San Diego and going all these places on these like tournaments. Like these guys are better. Like these guys in the amateurs, these top-notch amateurs.
Better than the pros you were
They're
fighting.
better than the
Wow.
pros. Yeah, for sure. So I was
Incredible.
like, we got this. It's a little different style. It's all point system and kind of faster and not like all about power. So like we kind of like switched that into like sitting down your punches and settle in and just slowing it down just a little bit. But no, I felt good. That was a fast pace in the amateurs, and I felt good going into that.
Nice.
So I got
No,
that.
you're
yeah.
building a solid base. Life was changing. Work was good. Boxing career taking off. What
Yeah.
about the kids, man? I know did you have kids during this span or they came later?
When did Mia come in? Mia came in at 2016. Yeah, Mia came at 2016. So we're in Huntington Beach, and we had sweet little Mia.
Pro career's taking off.
Pro career's taking
Now
off.
you have your first child.
I had my first kid.
Put some fire in you, huh?
Man, incredible.
How was that?
Healthy, precious little baby girl. Yeah, that was awesome. My wife is just such a rock solid woman. She's just such a good, woman with great morals, so strong, awesome family background that I looked up to like crazy. I learned so much
Wow.
meeting her and seeing her family and just seeing a whole different style, a lifestyle that I looked up to. We actually got married the same day as her parents.
Wow.
So our 1 year anniversary was her parents' 40th year. We just
Awesome.
we respect and looked up to the relationship so much. So yeah, I did that. Had little Mia, August 2016. Her birthday is on Sunday. She'll be 5.
Hey.
She'll be 5 years old on Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my big girl.
So after having your first, man, what do you think that did to your motivation and your drive? You know, I know I don't have kids, but I know for people that do, it just changes them completely.
It changes life, man. Just the way that you look at the world, having kids, it just changes. It changes everything. And yeah, I have to be careful and cautious enough, but also just be a winner. You know, they're like, yeah, they see me on TV, you know, I fight on ESPN, like, oh, there's daddy, you know, on TV, and then they start crying. I got headbutted and split open, and they're crying, they're sad, and I get home and they're all sad. But it fuels me, man. It's incredible just having a family to live so much more. It's just so much more added to it. Yeah, they're super supportive, man. They're so supportive. My wife is just tough. My mom is just like, go get him, my son. You guys are built tough. I know you are. You know?
Yeah.
I'm never worried about nothing with you kids. You guys are so big and strong. Like, oh, yeah. She always said that too.
Oh man.
So the pro career is starting to take off. Your first few wins, they seem pretty easy.
Yeah.
You know how
they're tough. They're actually my first 3 fights were hard fights.
Really?
Jerry, like, he knew. He's like, if you just fight, you know, these trash cans with these bums, like, your confidence can get super big, and then when you fight someone that actually has skills, it's you're gonna be shocked. So he put me in my first 3 fights were tough.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, these guys were good prospects. Yeah, but I handled it. You know, I handled myself well, and we had some issues. There was like tons of rain and all kinds of weather issues in Huntington, and we're renting this place right there by the beach, and we had a newborn, and like the windows like were put in wrong, and like they like flooded, and then next thing you know, there's mold and like asbestos, and we have like a little baby, and she's like coughing all these weird ways, and we're like, what the heck is going on? It's super expensive. Daycare is super expensive, like, and so we're like, and this landlord, she was not the best lady. She was trying to like pay us out so we didn't like get her in trouble for mold and asbestos, because she said there was no asbestos and stuff like that, and our kid's like sick, and we're like worried, like new parents, like, what the heck's going on? So we're like, we have no family support here, we're starting a family, we have a little one, let's move either to Kansas or Arizona.
Wow.
So
what was it about Arizona that was like drawing you guys here?
I'm from here. I have so much family support. My brother, you know, my mom. I have so many cousins and everything. And boxing is better here and then Kansas.
Okay.
So I was like, you got like your master's degree. I was like, you're super smart and hardworking. I'm just like a dumb felon that can just punch people in the face. I was like, I'm able to transfer to Climate Tech, my AC job. I'm still pro. I'm still working for Climate Tech. I was like, I'm able to transfer to Arizona because that's where like the headquarters is. And I was like, you're super smart. You can get a job anywhere, you know? And they're like, all right, cool. So we just packed up and moved out to Arizona. I'm still working at transfer to Climate Tech, still doing that. She got a good job. Mia's getting older, and then bam, she's pregnant with her second.
Oh.
Yeah. So, so we ended up buying a house over in North Phoenix, kind of where I grew up.
So you laid down some roots now for real.
Yes,
now
sir.
It's permanent.
And that was huge too. Like I said, I became obsessed with saving money. So I saved money, able to put the down payment on the house, buy a car the same weekend, bought a house, bought a car. And I was like, yeah,
what a good feeling.
We're doing it. We're doing
Getting
it.
ahead in life. Hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And still have money in the bank.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And little one, the second one comes, little Millie Lou. They're 2 years apart, exactly 2 years apart. She just had a birthday, last week. She just turned 3. The big girl's about to turn 5. And then the little baby boy is going to be here any day now. My wife's due date is the 28th.
Wow,
so 2 girls and a boy coming.
Wow, man.
Yeah. And so, I bought a house, still working for Climate Tech. And then just last November, everything's going good, right? I'm 8-0. And then I get a call and I fight on ESPN for Top Rank with a 2-week notice in the middle of the pandemic. And I'm like, yeah, they tell me this guy is like 5'7", 250 pounds. And I'm like, yeah, no big deal. 2-week notice. I'm not in shape. I'm not training. No one's fighting. It's the middle of the pandemic. But I was like, he's 5'7", 250 pounds. I'm going to smoke that guy. And I get there, and the guy's 6'3", 290 pounds, and he's a southpaw. And I'm like, oh, man, I probably, I wouldn't have taken the fight because I'm not really in shape. But I figured if he's 5'7", 250, he's
How'd that miscommunication come about?
Yeah.
Is that just them
It was
playing
on his
games
box
with
rec
you?
and everything.
Wow.
And when I went into the fighter meeting, I'm talking to like Tim Bradley and all the guys from Top Rank. And they're like, hey, big man, you're 6'6". And I was like, yeah. They're like, how do you feel about fighting a 5'7" guy? I was like,
hell yeah.
I just walked past him in the hallway, and I was like, is that the guy? Like, yeah, Holloman. Yeah, I said, he's at least 6'3". And they said, yeah, he's 6'3", 292 pounds. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I found out he's a southpaw too. I'm like,
Right,
crap.
changes
And I didn't have the
everything.
wind. We went like the southpaw, our feet get tangled up. He headbutted me in the first minute of the fight. My eyes split open. I just didn't have the gas to push, you know. So I lost a close decision. So that was my first loss. And man, I really just like sat back like mad. I took it well. I was like, yeah, it was a big stage. I kept my cool, I kept calm. I think I was too calm for that because it's just a big thing. I was like, just act like you've been here. They always taught us that in college football, like act like you've been here. Yeah, well, this is the championship, but act like you've been there. It's not a big deal. So I just like Freddie Roach and all the cameras and stuff, and I was like, it's not a big deal. I was like too calm too, and I just didn't let my hands go. I kind of held back. I didn't have the win. So I lost that, but I like sat back and talked to my wife, and I was like, man, I got to take this more seriously. I'm working full time. I'm not training as much as I can. I'm balancing, 2 kids, a wife, trying to be a good husband, a good father, work a full-time job and train. I was like, there's way too much. Something's got to go. And the only thing I can think of is my job. I was like, I'm not going to stop boxing. I was like, I'm built for this. And then my family is the most important thing in the world. I got to be a good
going
good
100
man.
on the dream,
For sure.
Yeah.
So I talked to her about it, and I was like, I'm just going to go for it. She's like, all right. And supported me there, and I quit my job last November. And since I've quit my job, I have had 3 fights. I was ranked like 104th in the country. And after my last fight, I just knocked that guy out in the 5th round. A month
real
ago.
nasty KO, by the way.
Nasty,
Real nasty KO.
I knocked it out, and
go check that highlight out.
yes, sir. So I knocked that guy out, and I checked my ranks. I'm 22nd. So from 8
top
months,
25.
yeah, from 8 months, I went from like 104th to like 22nd. Like, man, that's huge. So
how's your mentality been now, knowing like, hey, I can focus all the time on training? Like, I'm putting my 100% effort.
it's big. It's big. There's still a little piece missing, but I think we got that figured out. So I'm fighting September 18th. At the Arizona Federal Theater in Phoenix for the All-American Heavyweight belt.
Ooh, let's go.
And I talked to my wife. She'll have this baby in the next, week or 2. The kids are in school, so they're gone, 8 hours a day. She'll be off work on maternity leave.
Yeah.
And with the baby, and she's like, we'll go off to camp. So I think I'm going to go stay up in the woods for like 2.5, 3 weeks before my fight, just to really transform, because I'm still kind of holding back. She's like, I'll be able to handle it. I'm off completely. She's like, go be by yourself and just isolate yourself and really transform, because I'm still holding back. I talked to my coach after we went over film on my last fight, and I'm hesitating. I'm just taking it easy on these guys. I'm being nice to them, and I've made it this far. I'm 11-1, ranked top 25, and I'm not even fighting at 40% of what I'm capable of doing.
Wow.
I'm just not transferring what I'm capable of doing into the ring. So I got to go
find out what the block is, right?
Yeah, find out what that is, and just dig into that, 18-year-old mindset, or just a stone cold killer.
With the animals.
But it's hard, man, with the family and these precious girls. I'm like, man, being a dad's all
melts your heart.
Man. And I'm just around like, well, daddy, like I'll turn to like this big goofy, just fun, happy guy, like husband. I'm just surrounded by 3 girls, and then life is fucking wonderful, dude. Life is so good. Like, just healthy, happy. I got a house. I got a vehicle. Life is good. And it's almost like I need to go remember where I came from, and just kind of.
It's making you soft, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just like, I like people. I really like people a lot. I just like people, and they make me happy. I'm excited. I like meeting people, hearing their story. So it's like, man, I need to cut that crap out and just be small, because this is my job. I'm trying to pay off my house and maybe buy another house and set my family up and set my kids up and take care of everything. So I'm in the top 25 now. This is the big time,
big shot right here too.
Yeah, so
no room for error here now.
None. Yeah, so I really need to tap into that. And
what a good opportunity, man. 3-4 week camp, isolated, really dig deep.
Yeah, I can play with the timing, how long it takes me to transform, and how can I tap into that, and I'll just see family and friends and everyone after the fight. But I'll just be an animal, caged animal, just like hungry. Like, you took away my family, you took away everything I have. Like, all right, you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay. I'm gonna get you out there as fast as I can, so I can get back to my family. Wow. And go see you and celebrate with everyone.
What do you know about your opponent?
Nothing.
That's good.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Nothing yet. There was a couple guys that qualified to fight for the belt, but they want too much money, or they turned us down. But there's a list of guys.
Right.
So
right.
the promoter's still working on that. I just met with them 2 days ago. So
good.
Yeah.
Well, good. It's good to know that you got a date though.
Yeah.
You got it all lined up. You kind of know what you're gonna do for your camp. That's pretty much the most important part of the battle.
For sure.
Get that all dialed in.
Hell yeah.
How do you feel going into this one compared to the rest?
Oh, great, man. I've just hanging out with you guys, meeting you guys. Like, you guys are disciplined, self-control, like the things that we learn when we go on our hikes, and we just all feed off each other and build each other up and learning all these new things, like what to eat, what not to eat. Like, that stuff has helped me. Like, these last 6 months, I'd say, like, I've just hit new levels, and just the way that my body feels, my mind feels, just the things that I'm doing, the little things I'm doing at night before bed, the breathing, the cold showers, the cold plunges that we just did, the getting outdoors, just appreciating everything, just talking to each other. Dude, that stuff has just been
gold,
game changer.
Yeah, man.
Sun your balls.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting that we are kind of connected in a way through your cousins and growing up in such a close, radius of each other. Then we're out on these hikes learning about each other. And now even me just learning your story today, it's incredible, man. Like, the type of person I know you as, who I've met, is nothing like what I've heard of these stories. And it's really cool for me now to sit back and appreciate where you came from and where you're going now. And I've personally seen you level up over the last month or two.
Yes, sir.
We're going out on these hikes, and we like to jump off the cliffs, and you're out there really like setting the bar high for as far as like that mentality of I can do it too. And I know we were kind of all that same monkey see, monkey do. So once, the friends start sending it, and that goes back to the biking, the skateboarding days. It's like when you're in that group atmosphere and everyone's leveling up, you want to level up too.
Yes, sir.
And man, I'm just going to give you mad credit right now. You have leveled up last month. Man, I'm really, really proud of you, man. And it's just been great to have you part of the crew, man.
Hell yeah.
Like you said, like all these hikes have just been so fundamental for me as well. All these different topics we talk about, we're not out there just we're not out there just bullshitting the whole time. We're out there really trying to dig deep and be better and know that there's more to this life. And
so Henry Corrales was the one that invited you out, right?
Yeah.
Is that how it happened?
Yeah, Henry and Dan. Yeah. That's right.
the good link.
They kept pushing for, hey, come out, hike, come out, you got to see this stuff.
And I was like, yeah, cliff jumping, hiking, like, heck yeah, cold water. It was a lot colder when we first met. And like, we got to get out there and get in that cold water. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then my wife, I told her about it the first time I went, just to experience and just how I felt and everything. And she's like, oh, that's your little spiritual little trip with your boys. And she supports the crap out of it. She's like, go do it. Not right now, because she's about to pop.
Right.
But after everything, like, she's like, yeah. And I come home a better man. I'm a better husband. I'm a better dad. I'm a better man. I'm better in myself. Like, we all just feed off each other and just level up. And
it's incredible. That was your first psychedelic experience too, right? Mushrooms. Tell me about that. How was that?
Man, that was good stuff, man. I got into drugs when I was real young. I was like smoking meth when I was like 14 years old, and cocaine and all that stuff when I was robbing and doing all that stuff. And I just kind of looked at myself in the mirror one day and I just quit, and I was like, I'll never do them again. But once I talked to you guys and talked to Henry and Dan and everyone about them, I was hesitant, but I was like, I'll just try just a little bit, just a little bit. And I did. And just the whole experience, the drive out there pulling up, just the walk, the hike, just watching the sunrise, and then just eating. I just took a little bit, just microdose all throughout. But man, everything was more vibrant. Dude, I would just sit by the water. I remember when we first got there, I went and sat down by the water, and I just kind of kicked back like this, and I just like looked around, just like, man, life is so beautiful. Like, man, I appreciate everything. I just see the little things floating off the water, the sun's rising. And I'm just like, man, this is what it's about. And we're all talking to each other on the way, and we're just like, hey man, what are you searching for? What are your goals? You want to be a champ, and we're all just like lifting each other up and learning about, new healthier foods, what to eat, what not to eat, like all that stuff. And I'm like, holy smokes, like, I became a better man just that day.
It's that set and setting. We talked about it before on the pod when we were tapping into the psychedelic realm.
Yeah.
And it's really about who you're around, your set and setting. I think you did it right. You didn't go blast off. You just went slow.
Yeah.
Enjoyed yourself. You're around a good group of people, and we're outside in nature.
Exactly where you need to be.
Doing it right, just doing it the right way.
Yeah, because I know when you're younger, like you do it. Like I had friends that do. I didn't mess with when I was younger, but they had friends that do it in like a dark room late at night. They're drinking alcohol and there's like clown posters on the wall,
out, yeah.
and they're like, oh, they're coming and laughing. But no, like getting outdoors and the elements and the sunshine. We're exercising and just like an active recovery.
Using it in like a medicinal sense, man, and it's wow.
Right.
Yeah, I can't say enough about them. I'm telling you.
That was such a great day. And we had most of that place to ourselves for a while too, which is also another great little, frequency to pick up on, is like it's just us, it's just our energy there.
Yeah.
Man, that was just such a great day.
Yeah, a couple of people came and they saw us jumping in. They're like, they jumped into
isn't that cool? That's part of the fun.
Yeah. Oh man, isn't that cold? Yeah, it's so good. We're all excited and happy and smiling. They're like, well, we want to be excited.
We just went last weekend as well, and it was a busy day, man. There's a lot of people there, and we were just sending it all day. And
I saw
Big Adam comes up to me and he goes, I think I'm gonna throw a gainer today at some point. Literally the next trick he doesn't even wait 5 minutes, and he goes and does it.
Yeah.
And I mean clean too. Real nice. Yeah. You got a lot of athleticism, man.
Yeah.
You were catching some good lift off on those.
Yeah. The first two that I didn't like understand where I was or what was going on. By the third one, I was like, okay, now I can kind of explode up and tuck differently. And
I was noticing the takeoff. I was like, man, this guy's got some hops too.
Well, I always admire how graceful you are with everything too. Like you're like a dang ninja out there with your handstands and everything, and your cartwheel. I'm like, that's so cool. So I had to try it.
Yeah, you did.
I did the cartwheel. I did the cartwheel off the diving board.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Man, that's such a great feeling when you see someone else do something, and
it's crazy to see.
And that's how we learn as humans. You're kind of watching someone go through the motions and get through it. And then and then we got to a point where Big Adam, myself, and Luis Saldana all did a triple gainer at the same time, off the big side. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
awesome.
Man, just what a level up. It's so cool, and you get so happy for your friends too when you're out there and you see them doing it. You see them getting to the spot where you've always wanted to be, and you're at now, and now they're there, and it's just, man, there isn't a better feeling,
That's right.
You're seeing all the homies just get to that spot,
just get better.
And you're like, man, what a great time.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then so now you're post first hike with the crew, psychedelic experience. You're going home. What's going through your mind, man, when you're driving home? You just got to be like, holy shit.
Oh yeah, I'm on cloud nine. I'm like, man, this is like. Everyone needs this in their life, because I just want to make the world a better place. I want everyone to experience, but a lot of people aren't ready for it yet. They just don't, like, oh, it's kind of weird. I've explained it to some friends or family members, and they're like, freaking hippie, you know what I mean? But I'm like, no, bro, like, we're tough. We're all badass elite men, you know what I mean? That just want to better our bodies, feel it with good stuff, and just breakthrough levels, So I just feel like $1 million, and I'm going home, just like my energy is just is just vibrant and like excited to see everyone, my family. And that's my wife. She's like, hey, I support it. Like, look how happy you are. Look how look how good it, You
can't deny that,
man.
Can't deny that.
We need this. Like everyone needs this.
Did you go through like a little mental phase while you were out there, having some internal conversations, like getting through some shit? The questions.
I kind of questioned a few things, but I don't know. I think I kind of pretty much figured it out and came to peace with a lot of
Nice.
things. Yeah, I'm not gonna let it like. I can easily let so many things that happen in my life destroy me, but like, what good is that going to do?
Right.
I see like too many,
It's done too.
Yeah,
it's done.
over with. Like, there's nothing you can do. Like, why let it destroy you, or why dwell on it? Like, it's not going to do no good, so don't dwell on it. Don't let it. Yeah.
That's a common experience people have when they go out there and do that stuff. It's just, you get some heavy shit off your chest, and you go home, like you said, it's like energy. It's abundant, because now you're not weighed down by all that shit, and it's something when we call it the sober mind, but it's just when you finally get a chance to go out there and think about some shit, and you go home now back to the realities of life, the grind, and it's just like, damn, I worked through so much shit that I didn't have the time for before. I got kids, I got wife, I got a job, I got bills, I got this, training, blah. You never have time to yourself. And then you finally, for the first time in a long time, we're just out there. And you got to look deep within, and you got those questions answered, man. How was training and everything, like days, weeks after that? Were you on fire? Just everything on point?
Everything. I just felt great, man. I leveled up. I was like, when's the next? I'm ready to go back.
Exactly.
I'm ready to go.
Because I know my feelings and this is one thing which I've been a big weed smoker my whole life, and that never got me more towards my goals. But for some reason, these psychedelic trips, I come back refreshed and driven. I'm ready to go after what I want in this life, all the goals and aspirations that I have. And that's been like the big game changer for me. And I'm sure you guys probably feel the same way.
100%.
But after these trips, you're kind of more goal oriented and driven.
Yeah, no, there's no excuses that it's going to stop me from
doing exactly.
Sure.
It almost
Before,
makes the path
make
clear.
a little excuse like, oh, I'm hurting, or I could skip that. But no, man, we just got to keep pushing.
Right, it puts that straight into your face, like all these little inconveniences. Like, I don't feel good. I didn't have the energy for this. I did that. Why are you doing that? Like your brain is like, why am I doing that?
Yeah.
Stop, man. The difference between me and my dream, like being a champion, is like these stupid little things that are adding up.
Yeah.
And then when you come back out of your trip, you're home. You're just like, okay, I'm ready to go now. I know what I got to do, and I can make this happen. And it's little behavioral changes that your brain is just like turned on when you're psyched out. You're just like, oh yeah, why did I skip my meal? Why didn't I go to the gym? Why didn't I do this? You know?
No doubt.
So it changes you, brother.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a great thing, man. It's a great thing. A lot more people could use it for sure. But in the right way, the right setting, and the right dose,
Yeah.
a lot of those factors play, super important into it.
So I was gonna ask you now too. So after this match coming up, how do you envision the next couple of years going, man? What do you got on your mind?
So I think, fight September 18th, be victorious. We get another fight November, and then just kind of chill out with the family. Go back
Enjoy
to
your
Kansas,
holidays.
Enjoy the holidays. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Enjoy Christmas in Kansas with her, her family. And then just get right back to it. Well, I'll still be working out there, chopping wood, chopping trees and stuff like that.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
And then just get right back to it. I'm expecting big things to happen in 2022. Like,
Hell yeah.
yeah, like life-changing things are
Top
gonna be
teners
happening.
coming up.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
No doubt. Because after these next 2 wins,
Yep.
I'm right
Exactly.
there.
You're right there.
And I'm ready. And then I got
Knocking
the
on
camps
door.
figured out, just kind of the mindset to fight, to 100% of what I'm capable of doing. And there's no, if I'm able to tap into that and do that, I'm the heavyweight champion of the world, guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Love that.
If I'm able to tap into that, because I'm not even fighting at 40% of what I'm capable of doing right now. And I'm, 11-1, top 25.
Right.
Once I tap into that, which I'm gonna figure out, because look what I'm surrounded by, a bunch
Exactly.
of badass boys that just leveling each other up and figuring that kind of stuff out.
Which of the top 3-4 big names get you the most excited right now?
Yeah, Anthony Joshua. I have dreams about fighting Anthony
Really?
Joshua. Yeah. We're the same. We're 6'6", 240 pounds. He's a little more chiseled than me, what I mean? But we're like the same, just like good, big, happy guys. He rides like dirt bikes on the same kind of extreme sports. Like just a good person, extremely skilled.
Right.
It's like, yeah, the U.S. versus the U.K.
Exactly.
Same
Bring
size,
it.
just
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that matchup for you too.
So what do you think on these upcoming matches? Who do you got? What's some of your takes on these big fights coming up?
Oh, so we got Wilder and Fury rematch.
Oh,
Part 3. Yeah.
Round
Fury's
3.
going to do the same thing to him again.
He
Man.
smoked him.
Fury's going to
Second time,
smoke him again. He is. He is.
You don't think
Wilder's going to drop the bomb? No, I don't think so. I think he's
no
got him.
improvements from the second fight?
Yeah, improvements, but it's not going to be enough.
Okay.
Yeah, Fury's going to come out. He's gaining the weight. He's just his movement, his twitches, and
It's too technical, huh?
He's too long, too technical, and he knows how to duck that right hand. He's ducking that right hand. Who else do we have coming up? Michael Hunter. No, he just fought. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's the big one though.
That's really the one
That's
on the
really the
docket
big
coming
one.
up. Yeah. And then I know they have Ruiz with somebody else, but I don't know who.
Oh, is Ruiz fighting somebody?
They're in negotiations, but
Okay.
his candle kind of fell off a little bit when he fought Joshua again, and he didn't really show out. He didn't look like the money and the fame, man. Is that something you worry about? Like,
No.
I know you're dreaming of getting there, but look at what happened to Ruiz. The moment he knocked out Joshua, he was on top of the world, first heavyweight Mexican ever. Money's coming your way, interviews, attention, everything. And then he came into that rematch against Joshua and got absolutely
I know. I was in
smoked,
his
yeah.
camp. I was in
Really?
Ruiz's camp for that rematch. So they brought me out to Los Angeles, and I was in camp with them. So I got
damn.
to see him sparring. I've seen him. He was a little heavy, a little overweight. I see my buddy Michael Hunter sparring with him, and I'm just like,
It wasn't looking good in camp.
It's because my brother just did some personal security for him after he won, and he was telling my brother, like, man, we're sitting in like a 1-bedroom apartment, me and my wife, all my kids, my mother-in-law, just poor, broke, you know what I mean, like begging for that fight. I know I can win, begging for that fight. And they were like window shopping, you know, they're going on Craigslist looking at all the mansions and stuff and the G-Wagons and all that stuff. And he's like, they're like, yeah, this is what I'm winning when I get this fight and I win it. This is what I'm gonna be buying. And he said, sure enough, it all happened. But yeah, that's gonna happen. Like, this guy is poor, broke, comes from nothing, and then he just gets $15 million. Right. It's like, dude, that's gonna happen to anyone.
Major upset too. Then nobody gave him a shot.
Shook the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, short little fat boy. Yeah, his freaking Greek god. You know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was just like, I was sitting at a friend's house.
Two opposite body types,
right?
And he just overwhelmed him. Yeah, he's sneaky and he's explosive, and you can easily underestimate him for sure. Yeah, but we'll see how he bounces back, you know. But I can definitely, it makes sense. But I learn from those people. I learn from other people's mistakes. I sit back and stay grounded. You know, stay good. You don't need all that fame and all that stuff. Doesn't mean nothing.
Right, getting surrounded by these like leeches, the yes men, and like, you do this, do that. They're in your ear constantly telling you yes. Nobody's being real with you. You know, it's part of the downfall. Your head gets a little big too, you know. It's like, fuck, hell yeah, I am the best. I am this. I am knocking out motherfuckers left and right. And they're in your ear telling you, you're the shit, champ, you're this, you're that. And then, man,
you got to keep those people around you. They'll ground you. They'll be real.
Yeah, check you.
My coach is like that. My wife is like that. Yeah, I have a few people that are just like, hey man, well, look at this. You look like shit right here, like leading up to that knockout. Like, what the hell is this bullshit? I'm like, that's why that film, like, yeah, it was cool, badass 5th round knockout, knocked the dude's head off, celebrated, but really looking at the film, like, what the hell was that? You know, the rest of that stuff was like,
we were happy, huh? He could have been way better.
I was like, what was that? I should have done it to that guy in the first round. Like, that, it was perfect for me. Why aren't you letting go? Why are you hesitating? Why don't you throw this? Why didn't you stay on this? Why didn't you punch after that angle? So yeah, we just keep learning from
That's the right attitude, though.
Yeah,
that's the right attitude. Yeah, so now that you're growing, everything's going well, you seem like you're on the right path. Do you have other things that you're trying to get in the works? Anything else that you're trying to cook up right now?
Yeah, so just 1 year ago, I started a Battleborn company. And Battleborn's just about, you know, everyone in life deals with their own personal battles, no matter what the battle, you know, PTSD, depression, drugs, you know, porn, anything like that. Like, we are all Battleborn. So I started a clothing company, Battleborn. This is our newest shirt. We actually just dropped it yesterday.
Oh shit, I love that.
On Henry Corrales' birthday.
Hey.
And Henry Corrales, he was like the motivation behind this, because every time I walked into the gym, I met Henry Corrales right at Fight Ready. I walk in the gym and he would say, "The biggest dog I know." And then he'd introduce me to people and be like, "This is Adam. He's my biggest friend, and he's the last of a dying breed." So the back of the shirt says, "The last of a dying breed."
Really?
Battleborn. It has the Reaper.
Dang,
and that was like inspired by Henry Corrales. And I didn't know his birthday was it yesterday or the day before? Yesterday. Henry Corrales' birthday was yesterday, and we released this shirt yesterday, and we decided our release date. And then all of a sudden I woke up and I checked social media and it was like, "Happy birthday, Henry Corrales." And I was like, holy smokes. So I went and dropped him off. I dropped him off a shirt. You know, I was like, thanks for inspiring.
If you know anything about him and his story, for him to boost you up like that, like, that's a real one talking to another real one. So man, there's a lot of good credit right there. Yeah. From one animal to another animal, man.
Yeah. So that's
pretty cool, man.
So yeah, Battleborn, it's been going a year. You know, we got hats, shirts, hoodies, shorts, little things like that, and we keep growing, and
it's good, man. I think it's important for people to reach out and go into other avenues, and not only that, but it sounds like it's really, you know, that's a good reason to start something, because you're right, we all got our things that we're dealing with, and our battles are heavy, you know, no matter what degree that is compared to others, you know.
Everyone has their own, no matter how big or small, everyone has a battle. You know, we're all Battleborn, so like, we just want to be like a positive, you know, little community, and
I love that.
Just lift each other up and just be good and make cool shit.
It's that simple, right?
Man,
it's just living a fulfilled life. I mean, what can you ask more than that? So man, I'm feeling that championship belt. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Starts in the mind.
Exactly,
in the
dude. Your
mind.
mentality is primed for it. Yeah, I can see it. It's just, it's different, man. There's some people that are driven in a way that it's just unlike everybody else, you know, and you can tell, like, if you took it seriously, which it sounds like you are, so, you know, I have no doubt, you know, it's a matter of time. It's like I tell him, you know, time is the only variable here.
Right.
That's it. You put in the effort and time, undefeated, man. You always win out.
No doubt.
So I'm excited, man.
Hell yeah.
I want to see this next guy get blasted in another dimension.
Yeah.
The guy after him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to watch a pay-per-view on my big ass TV.
Yes, sir. That's cool, baby.
Hell yeah. I'd be like, hey, we did a podcast and he's fucking knocking motherfuckers out of TV. Hell yeah. So
nothing but great things, man. Nothing but great things.
Want to close it out, Adam? Shout out pages, shout out where people can find you, social media, all this stuff.
Yeah, Adam Stewart, Adam Stewart _66 on Instagram. You can Google just Adam Stewart boxing or boxer, Adam Stewart boxer. Battleborn is BATTL3 born.com. So instead of the E, it's a 3. And then I also have a stewartboxing.com where you can find out like exclusive information about fights and ticket sales and little things, kind of support and help out there. So, yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, people, you know where to find them. We'll link it to in the YouTube, man, so they can go straight to
Man, what an incredible story, man. You're a great human being, and it's really cool to learn more about you, man, and now consider you a close friend, and for sure the biggest sender we have in our crew now, baby.
Literally
off the top, literally the biggest sender. Man, it's incredible, y'all. Incredible.
Good stuff, boys. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, appreciate you too, man.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. See you on the next one.
All right, y'all. Later.